Hey everyone, Dan here. Before we get into it, if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like and subscribe button and keep in mind that these are my own thoughts, opinions, and ideas. These are not meant to be, nor should you take them as investment or trading advice in any way, shape, or form. Do your own due diligence, put in the work for yourself, and make your decisions based on that. Enjoy. All right, folks, here we are after market close on Friday, October 27th. We're going to take a look at SoFi. So SoFi, as I'm sure you know, has earnings coming up. And I simplified the chart. I pulled in some info from market beats, and I thought that we would just go over that to see sort of where things might head depending on the reaction to earnings coming up. So in terms of levels and trend lines, I simplified things down to this downtrend that SoFi is most recently in. As I'm sure you know, it stretched up to 1170 here, pulled back in, and then really has gone to do a good job establishing the upper bound of this channel about 3 times and the lower bound about 3, closing in on 4 times. And it's sitting toward the lower end of that channel at the moment. So take that for what you will. The nearest in level that I see to the upside, 714. If it's able to flip that to support 791, 847. There might be some more sort of granular levels in between those, but again, the goal here was to simplify the chart down and not have 1,000 different levels on the chart. So this is sort of the best I could do trying to uphold that. To the downside, we have this downtrend support on the channel, if you will. So, that would be sort of the first level, but below that, 613, 568, if there is a bit of a negative reaction to earnings. Now, we do see previously here was earnings, and we had sort of a double bottom, and then it really took off. But that initial reaction was pretty negative. The earnings here, we had a nice positive reaction to earnings, but then we just lost a bunch of the price gain. So kind of interesting to see the last 2 earnings, we had a negative reaction, and then we actually boomed quite a bit, and then we had a positive reaction, and then we lost ground quite a bit. So, it's all just a roller coaster for old SoFi since the IPOE days, basically. Now, on Market Beat, they have an analyst hold rating with an upside of 28.3%. I think that's the average price target. And then 12.47% of the float currently sold short. So, putting a bit of pressure on SoFi there, being in double digits, but nothing astounding like in the 30s or 40%. And then insiders generally selling $475,000, I believe that is, sold last quarter. So flipping over to the Think or Swim study, we do see it is situated right at the lower bound of the channel and has basically flatlined, slight bearish momentum pickup on the histogram per the TTM squeeze indicator. So that's just to say, if it wants to try to rebound, at least for the channel setup, there would be plenty of room to the upside. If it were to pull further down to the downside, it would very quickly, probably immediately, pull out of the lower bound of the channel, which then sort of would put us in a waiting game to say, okay, when is the stock going to return and test the mid-range of the channel, much like we saw here. Pushed out the lower bound of the channel, and this only spent a few days there, and then came in and tested the mid-range of the channel. So it can spend longer out of the channel, right? We see to the upside back here, it spent several days out of the channel before it pulled back to test the mid-range, and it got a positive test there, and then it pushed further. Here it pushed up, had a negative test off the mid-range, and came down and had to retest the lower bound. So I'm interested to see, with the histogram basically at the or near the baseline, the price action situated sitting on the lower bound of the channel, is that indicative of bears just sort of like waiting for the timing to step in and tighten their grip on it? Is it an opportunity for it to build support in the channel and come up and at least retest the mid-range of the channel, which right now is situated at 765? or how is that going to play out? But that's sort of the setup as I see it at the moment. Down channel needs to be broken and some distance had from it before I would feel comfortable feeling like it's doing anything like trying to reverse trend. And even then, we need to be very cautious because we've seen several different times where it's appeared as though a trend is reversing and then it just sort of fully retraces, nearly fully retraces, something along those lines. All right, folks, I hope that you had a good trading week and that you enjoy your weekend. And as always, I appreciate you watching, and I will see you in the next video.